Hello and welcome to our lessons. In this video, we're going to learn how to use messenger sequences and email flow to send abandoned recovery messages so that you can recover your orders and let your customers pursue the orders that otherwise have been abandoned. So to start, we need to make sure that we have already installed and activated our MMIO WooCommerce plugin. And after that, we can go back to our dashboard. And once we are here, we are first going to create a chat sequence because we're going to send a series of messages inside of Messenger. So to do that, we're going to first go to Facebook and Instagram and then go to Chatbot Flow Builder. We are first going to create the messages that we are going to use for our chat sequence. So let's say that this is my abandoned cart messages. Okay, for our abandoned cart messages, I have prepared a script. So this is the script that we are going to use. We have 4 messages here. Okay, so let's start by building our chatbot flow, and then we are going to use this script as our abandoned cart recovery messages. So we are first going to create a placeholder text. So this text is not going to be sent to the customer. The purpose of this text is just to hold the messages that we are going to use. So I'm going to show you how it's done. So let's just say this is a holder text. And then I am going to add 4 quick replies here. So the purpose again of the following quick replies is just to hold the messages that we are going to use. These quick replies are actually not going to be sent to the customers. Next is we are going to add a condition. So add a condition element here. And what we're trying to do here is we are first going to assess if the person that we are going to send this abandoned cart messages is a customer or not. So if this person is not yet a customer, we're going to send this message. But if this person is already a customer or already bought the product, then we are not going to send the message. So that's the purpose of condition. Now what we can use here is we can use the tag here. So click any of the conditions are met and then add the tag. And then we are going to choose which tag we are going to check. And in this case, I have already created a buyer tag. So if you haven't created a tag yet, what you can do is click this button here, and then after that we are going to name our tag. So let's just say that this is the name of our tag, and then we are going to click OK to finally create the tag. And that tag or that label will be attached to our subscriber once they bought anything from our store. So I'm going to show you later how you can set that up. But for now, let's just use that tag as the filter of our condition. So let's configure this, add the tag, and then we are going to use this tag. So if the tag is not mock store purchaser, then we are going to send this message. So that is our workflow. So before sending the message, we are going to check first if the user already have the mock store purchaser tag. And if that user does not have a tag, we are then going to send this message because this one is connected to the true node. Meaning this message will only be sent if the user does not have the mock store purchaser tag. So let's name this as our message number 1. Okay, now we are going to add our message number 2, and same thing, we are going to check first if the user already have a tag or not, and then connect a message here. And same thing again for our 3rd message, and same thing for our 4th message. Every message that we are going to send, we are going to first check if the user have this tag, and if the user does not have this tag, only then are we going to send the message. So click any, add the tag, and then choose the mock store purchaser tag. Okay, good. So this is the basic structure. And then we are going to add the messages. So let's first compose our first message. We are going to copy all of this and then paste it over here. Great. I'm going to confirm the changes. So by the way, if you are asking where I got the following variables, these are the variables that you can copy inside of your store notification settings. Okay, so that is our first message. And for the second message, we're going to copy this and then name this as our message number 2. Okay. The reason that the condition element is the one that we are giving the name to is because we are going to first send the condition element. We are not going to send the text element, because if you send the text element without the condition, then we won't be able to check if the user already have a tag or not. So that's the reason why we are going to send the condition element. And to make sure that we are choosing the correct element, let's name this accordingly. So we have message number 1 and then message number 2. Later on, we are going to use all of these messages when we are going to build our chat sequence. Okay, let's build our message number 3. So this is my third message. Great. And then we are going to name this as message 3. And then finally, we are going to add our last message. Okay, paste this on the text over here, and then that would complete the messages setup. And then name this as message number 4. Okay. So we have 4 messages: message number 1, message number 2, message number 3, and message number 4. If you would like to get the template that we have shown in this video, you can just message us and we will send this abandoned cart recovery script to you. So this is a very basic template that you can use and you can modify as well. So on the first message, we're going to remind our customer about the purchase that they were not able to push through. So, and the second message is another reminder about the items that they are about to purchase. And then after that, we are going to say that we have reserved the items for them. And then on the third message, we are going to offer a coupon code, let's say a 20% discount coupon code. And then on the last message, we're going to give them the warning that this is our final message or our final goodbye. And then we are going to let them know that the coupon code would expire very soon. So this would produce a feeling of scarcity or a fear of missing out. So that's basically the essence of our last message. Okay, now that we have built up our flow, we can then save this abandoned cart messages flow. And then it's time to build our chat sequence. So let's go back to our dashboard, go to Facebook and Instagram, and then go to chat sequences. And once we are here, we are going to create a new one. And after that, we are going to define the messages that we are going to send for our chat sequence. So for the first message, we're going to use the flow that we have just created. This one, the abandoned cart messages. And then choose the message number 1 as our postback ID. So for this sequence, we are not going to use any message tag because we are going to send all of these messages within the 24-hour window. So for the first message, we are going to send this 15 minutes after the order becomes abandoned. Okay, let's compose our second message. For the second message, we're going to choose the same flow, but here we are going to choose message number 2, and then don't use a tag. And for this one, we are going to send this after 3 hours. So for the timing, choose hour here and then choose 3. Great. And then after that, we're going to send the third message after 8 hours. So we are going to compose our third message here and choose hour and then enter number 8 here. So we can send this after 8 hours. Okay, so for the flow, we're going to use the same flow that we recently created and then choose message number 3. And lastly, we are going to send this another 3 hours. So after 3 hours that we have sent the sequence number 3 message, we're going to send our last message, the sequence number 4 message. So click hour here and enter number 3. And then for the flow, we are going to use abandoned cart messages, the flow that we recently created, and choose message number 4. Okay, so this is our sequence. So we can go to next step here. Okay, we are going to name our sequence abandoned cart recovery chat sequence and then click save. Great, we have finally saved our messenger sequence. It's time to add this to our shop notifications. Go to e-commerce and then go to shop notifications. And then we are going to create a new shop notification here. And then we are going to call this as abandoned cart notifications. Okay, for the event type, we're going to choose abandoned. And then for the receiver would be the customer. And for this example, we are just going to turn off SMS, webhooks, and WhatsApp because for this video, we're going to use Messenger and email. Okay, for Messenger, we are going to enable the chat sequence here. So click enable. And as you can see, we currently cannot use Messenger sequence because our e-commerce store is not yet connected to a Facebook page. So that's what we are going to do first. So let's configure our e-commerce store so that we can use a Messenger sequence. So to configure, we need to add or link our e-commerce store to a Facebook page. So let's go to e-commerce and then click create or edit store. And then choose our e-commerce store. And in this case, this is the e-commerce store that is coming from WooCommerce, the store that we recently imported using the WooCommerce plugin. So we are going to edit this store. And after that, go to FB and Messenger marketing settings, and then choose the Facebook page that you want to associate it with. So in this case, I want to associate my e-commerce store to Chuck's Burger page. If you see in your settings that you have no option here for the Facebook page, it means that you haven't enabled a Facebook page just yet. So you need to make sure that you have imported a Facebook page and you have enabled that. So to import and enable a Facebook page, go to Facebook and Instagram and then go to import social media. And once you are here, you can add a Facebook page by clicking the Add a Page button. And for this example, we have already enabled the page that we are going to use, the Chuck's Burger page. So after you imported your Facebook page, you would need to enable it. So to enable your Facebook page, click the switch button here. And after you enabled the switch, you can then use this page to associate your e-commerce store with. So again, to remind you that for this example, we are going to use the Chuck's Burger page because this is the Facebook page where we created our chatbot flow and our chat sequences. So that's why we are going to associate our e-commerce store with this specific Facebook page. Again, let me stress this out. You must connect or associate your e-commerce store to the Facebook page where you created your chatbot flow or your chat sequence. So go to e-commerce. We're going to edit our e-commerce store again. Click edit store. And after that, on the FB and Messenger marketing setting, we are going to choose Chuck's Burger. Again, this is where we created our chatbot flow and our chat sequence. That's why we are going to associate our e-commerce store to this Facebook page. And after that, as you can see, there is a setting here where we can add a subscriber label whenever our subscriber purchases from our store. So remember that when we created our chatbot flow, we also created a brand new label or subscriber tag. We are then going to choose that tag over here, the mock store purchaser. So what would happen is whenever our customer purchases from the store, this tag, the mock store purchaser tag, will be added to our subscriber. So we are now going to save the settings that we have added on this e-commerce store and then click save. So if we revisit the chatbot flow that we created, we are going to edit this flow. You may remember that we added conditions here. So we are first going to check if the user have a mock store purchaser tag. And if they don't have this tag, it means that they haven't bought anything from our store yet. That's why we are going to send these abandoned cart messages to them. But if they already bought from our store, then they won't receive our abandoned cart recovery messages. Okay, great. We are then going to build our abandoned cart notification. So go back to e-commerce and then shop notification. Let's add the notification again and enter our notification name here, abandoned cart notifications. For the event type, let's choose abandon. And for the receiver, let's choose customer. Again, let's disable SMS, webhooks, and WhatsApp because for this video, I'm going to show you how you can use email and messenger to send your abandoned cart recovery sequence of messages. Okay, since we have already configured our chat sequence, we can now enable the chat sequence mode here because we have already successfully associated our e-commerce store to a Facebook page. Now here on the messenger sequence, let's simply choose the abandoned cart recovery sequence that we have created earlier. So let's save this notification. Okay, so we have already finished setting up the messenger chat sequence for our abandoned cart recovery message. Now what we're going to do next is we are going to build our email flow so that we can send a series of emails to our customer who abandoned their order. Okay, now first things first, we need to add email integrations here because you won't be able to create an email flow or an email sequence without configuring your email integration. So if you go to email marketing and then email flow builder, you would receive this warning because we haven't assigned any email responders. And if ever we go to an email responder, we won't be able to assign an email responder because we haven't enabled any service provider for our email. So to connect an email service provider, we need to go to integrations. Okay, so for the email integrations, we have three choices here. You can use Amazon SES, SendGrid, or SMTP. For this example, we are going to use Gmail's free SMTP service. So to use Gmail's free SMTP service, you must first have a Gmail account. So let's just say that we are going to use this specific Gmail account. So if you have your Gmail, go to your account settings for Gmail and then click Manage Google Account. And once you are here, go to Security. So the next step would be to enable the two-step verification under the signing into Google. And go here and click Get Started. Enter your credentials and then click Next. And after that, simply choose any two-step verification devices that is available. So for this example, I'm just gonna choose another backup option here. So I can download the code. So this process is entirely up to you. So I'm just doing this for example purposes. You can have any other two-step verification method. The point here is that you should enable the two-step verification for Gmail, any type of two-step verification method, as long as you enable it. For this example, I'm gonna use this one. It might be another thing for you. So it's not really required to copy the method that I'm showing you here, okay? So I hope that's clear. And then turn on the two-step verification. Okay, finally, I have already turned on the two-step verification for this Gmail account. So once that's done, I have already turned this on. We can now create an app password. So that's the real reason why we need to enable the two-step verification so that we can create an app password, because this app password is going to be one of the required credentials that we are going to enter once we connect the Gmail SMTP integration. So let's add an app password here. Enter your credentials and click next. And then for the app, let's just use mail. And for the device, let's just use other and name this as MMIO. And then I'm going to click generate. Alrighty then, so I have already created my app password. So make sure that you save this app password somewhere safe. So I'm going to copy this app password and save this on my computer. Okay, done. I have already saved the password. So once that's done, we now have everything we have to configure our Gmail SMTP integration. So let's go back to our dashboard. So to configure the SMTP, simply click the connect button here. And then for the from email, enter your Gmail address here. And for the username, enter your Gmail email address as well. And for the password, you are going to use the app password that you have recently created and paste it over here. Great. The next is host. For the host, smtp.gmail.com. So add it as your host. And for the port number, we are going to use 587. And for this option, we are going to use TLS. Okay, we have fully filled out the Gmail SMTP integration. And after that, we can click validate and save button over here. Great, we have successfully integrated Gmail for our SMTP. So that's the first step. The next step would be to assign SMTP as our primary email handler. So go to email marketing and then go to email settings. And once you are here, we're going to assign this SMTP account for our email flows and assign this SMTP account as well for our email broadcast. Now click Save Email Settings and then click OK. So once that's done, we can now finally create an email flow. So go to email marketing and then click email flow builder. And then we are going to create a new email flow here. So let's name this as email abandoned cart flow. Click OK. Alright, so this is the email flow interface. So it's pretty much like the messenger flow builder. So the first thing that we need to do here is we're going to add an HTML email over here. And then let's configure this element. So I have already created an email template beforehand. So to save time, I'm just going to use the previous email template that I created. So click load from email template. And then I'm going to use this template, Max Store Abandoned Cart template. I'm going to load this one. Great. So this is the email template that I am going to use for my abandoned cart recovery emails. And for the email body, we are still going to use this script. So this will become my first message for the email. Okay. So copy and paste this one. And after that, make sure that you have an unsubscribe link. So click the unsubscribe link option here. And for this one, I have already added the unsubscribe link. So click this link button and then add the unsubscribe link variable here. So click save. So that will become our unsubscribe link. And this is our first message. And for the email subject, let's just say, hey. first name, you forgot something. So that is our first email. And for the from name, let's just use mock store. So this is our from name. We are going to use our brand. And for the from email, we are going to use our Gmail account's email here. So this is the email that we have used on our SMTP integration. So after adding the email here, we can confirm the changes. The next one would be to add a delay. So the next delay would be after 3 hours. And then we are going to clone this email. And we are going to add our second message. So this is the second message. And then paste the second message over here. Okay, great. So we have already pasted the second message. And for the email subject, let's just say something's waiting for you. Okay, so this is our second message. Let's compose our third message. And let's add a delay over here. For this delay, we are going to use 8 hours. So click hour here and then enter number 8. Next, we are going to clone this for our fourth message. And then for the email body, we are going to copy this message and then paste it on our email body. And then for the email subject, let's just say last call, coupon code expires soon, complete your purchase ASAP. So this is our last message. And then for the last message, the delay would be 3 hours here. Okay, great. And then connect it to our last message. Okay, so let's double check. So this is our first message. Hey, first name, you forget something. And then the second message, something's waiting for you. And for the third message, I think we haven't configured the third message just yet. So what I'm going to do is I am going to copy the third message here. This is the third message. Copy this one and then go to the third email and configure that one. So we are going to paste that message over here on our email body. And for the email subject, let's just say, how about a 20% discount? Just complete your purchase now. So it's really up to you. You can compose your own email subject. This is for example purposes only. So let's confirm this email and then let's double check again. This is the subject. Hey, first name, you forgot something, and then something's waiting for you as our second message. For the third message, how about a 20% discount? And for the last message, last call, coupon code expires soon, complete your purchase ASAP. So this is our abandoned cart recovery series of email. So what's missing here is we need to add a condition element so that we can filter out the emails that we are going to send, because we are not going to send these emails if the user is already a customer or if the user already bought from our store. So it's meaningless to send this email once the customer already bought from us. So we need to add a condition element, the same thing as we did when we created our chat sequence. So we added conditions there as well. But for the email sequence, the equivalent would be to check if the user is already on our customer contact book. Because once we configure our e-commerce store, we can automatically add our customers with emails to a contact book. So once they purchase anything from our store, they will be added to that contact book. So we are going to check if that email is already on our contact book. And if that email is already on our contact book, it means that that email already bought from our store. So no need to send the following messages. So how are we going to configure the contact book that I just said? So let's just save this email sequence. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get back to this email sequence again, reconfigure it with conditions. But first, let's add the contact book configuration to our e-commerce store. So I'm going to show you how you can do this. So after saving, let's go back. And then we are first going to add a contact book. So go to contacts and then click contact books. And then we are going to add our first contact book here. So we are going to name this as mock store customers. So this will become the name of my contact book. So what would happen is this contact book will store the emails of the customers from our e-commerce store. So let's click submit to finally create this contact book. So once the contact book is created, we can now configure our e-commerce store. So go to e-commerce, go to create and edit the store, choose your e-commerce store here, and then click edit store. Once you are on the configurations page, scroll down until you see the customer email contact book. So once you are here, select the contact book that you recently created. In this case, we recently created the mock store customers. So whenever a customer buys from our store or successfully purchased anything from our store, they will be added to our contact book as long as they provided their email address on the checkout page. Now click next, and after that click save. Alright, so we have configured our e-commerce store to store the customers to our contact book automatically. The next would be to configure our email flow again. So go to email marketing and then email flow builder. And then let's edit the email flow that we recently created. Alright, now we are going to add conditions here. So right click, or you can also click the open doc menu button and then choose conditions on the option. So once we have created the condition element, what we're going to do is this will become our first element that is connected to the reference element. And after that, we are going to add a 1 minute delay here. Okay, 1 minute delay, and then connect this to our email. Okay, so let's configure our condition element. And for the field option, we're going to choose part of contact book. So add this condition. So what this option does is we are going to check if that email is part of this contact book. So if this email is part of this contact book, it means that that user or that customer already bought something from our store. So we are not going to send the email. So in order to send the email, that user or that customer must not be part of this contact book. So on the qualifier, let's choose is not. So is not part of the mock store customers. So let's confirm. Okay, before we can confirm, let's choose all conditions must be met or any of conditions are met option. Any of the two would do. So after selecting any of the options here, click confirm the changes. Okay, so let me explain what is happening here. First, we are going to check if that customer's email is already a part of the contact book. And if that email is not yet part of our mock store contact book, it means that that user is not yet a customer. So we are going to send this message. Okay, so we would do the same thing for all of the emails that we have created here. Let's have a little recap. So before we are going to send our first email, we are going to check if the customer's email is part of the contact book. And if it is not part, send the email. Same thing is true for our second email. We're going to check if it's not part of the contact book. If it's true, then send this email. And for the third email, if still they are not part of a contact book here, we are going to send this third email. And lastly, if still they are not part of this contact book, we are going to send our last email. So whenever our customer purchases, we can be assured that they won't be able to receive the abandoned cart recovery emails because we have already filtered that out by using a condition. Okay, so this is already good. This is complete. We can now save our email sequence. After saving our email sequence, we can now add this sequence to our store notification. So go to e-commerce and then go to shop notifications. And we are going to edit the abandoned cart notification here. So edit that. And on the email settings, instead of single email, we are going to enable this option and then choose the email flow that we have just created, the email abandoned cart flow. Okay, so we are now using a series or a sequence of messages for our email. The same thing as well for Messenger. We are also sending a series of messages, and for each message we are checking if the user is already a customer or not. If the user already bought from our store, we are not going to send our abandoned cart recovery messages anymore. Okay, so good. We can now save our notification. And that's it. We have fully configured our abandoned cart recovery notifications. Now that we have fully set up the abandoned cart notification settings, we are now going to test how this works. So what we're going to do is we are going to create a test purchase on our e-commerce store. But remember, we are using a messenger flow here. So how are we going to send a message to our customers in Messenger? So the answer is really simple. We need to opt in our customer inside of Messenger. And that is what we're going to do right now. So we must create an opt-in Messenger flow. So go to Facebook and Instagram, and then we are going to create a chatbot flow builder. We're going to create a new flow. We're going to name this flow as customer opt-in for our Woo shop. Click OK. All right, we are now on Messenger Flow Builder. So in order to send abandoned cart notifications in Messenger, the customer needs to access our store inside of Messenger. So the way to do that is by creating a very simple message with a button. So the button would be buy now. And for the button type, we're going to choose web URL. We're going to add our product URL here. So for example, we would want our customer to purchase this one. Okay, so we can copy the product URL and then add the URL on our chatbot. So now in this case, if the customer clicks on this button, they would be registered or they would be opted in to Messenger. And once they are opted into Messenger, we would be able to send messages to that subscriber within the 24-hour window. Okay, for our message, we're going to say, hi, first name, buy our hoodie now. Click buy now button below. So if the customer clicks the buy now button, they will be opted into Messenger. After that, we can send abandoned cart recovery notifications in Messenger. And if that same customer enters their email as well on the checkout page, then we would be able to send abandoned cart recovery messages in email. Okay, so we are going to save this flow. And after that, let's add a keyword. Okay, for the keyword, let's just say buy now. So this is our keyword, buy now, and click save. Now we are going to test our flow, how this works. Okay, so let's try to add a test purchase on our WooCommerce shop, but we must access our WooCommerce shop using Messenger by clicking this buy button. So let's go to our page. Okay, so this is the Facebook page where we created our chat sequence, our customer opt-in, and this is also the page that we linked or we connected to our e-commerce store. And for the keyword, we have added a keyword here, buy now. So we are going to trigger our flow by typing buy now. Okay, so we have received the message that we have configured. And if we click the buy now button, then we will be redirected to our WooCommerce products page. And once we are on our WooCommerce product page, we can click add to cart here. And then after that, let's go to our cart and then go to checkout page. All right, and then enter the details that we have. Okay, so I'm gonna enter the details. And I am going to enter an email as well. So for this example, this is the email that I am going to use. So since I have entered an email, it means that whenever this order or this checkout page is abandoned, then our abandoned recovery messages for email will be triggered and will be sent to this email. And since we have not created an SMS abandoned messages, then it's not really important if this phone number is blank here, because the abandoned cart recovery messages for SMS will not be triggered because we disabled that one. Okay, so I think this is enough. So to make this order abandoned, we are not going to click place order. Instead, we are going to close this window. Okay, we have abandoned that order. And if we go to our e-commerce store, go to e-commerce and then click orders, we should see the field delivery info here. And as you can see, we have a field delivery info event for this email. And once this order status becomes abandoned, then the abandoned cart recovery messages that we set up will be triggered for both email and messenger. So let's wait a few minutes for those to be triggered. Okay, so after waiting a few minutes, the order now becomes abandoned. And we have received the store notification in Messenger now. So this is the abandoned cart recovery notification that we have configured. Hi John, we are from Ecom Store. We saw that you attempted to purchase the following, but you were not able to complete your order. Did something went wrong? So this is the first message. And if we check the line app for this message, we can go to Facebook and Instagram and then chat sequences. We can see the report for the abandoned cart recovery chat sequence by clicking this button. As we can see, the first message or the message number 1 is already sent. And then we have the line up here to be sent in 3 hours, in 11 hours, and 14 hours. So all of this will be sent within the span of 24 hours so that we won't violate the 24-hour window. And for the message 2, 3, and 4, it is all in queue. So we should be able to receive this within 24 hours. For the email, so if we check the inbox of our customer's email, you can see that we finally received the first email of our chat sequence. Okay, so this is the first email that we have created. And as you can see, it is automatically added the images and the product name of the items that is included on the customer's cart. Now, if the customer wanted to continue the purchase, all they have to do is click this link and they will be redirected back to their cart. So if they click here, they will be redirected even if it is on another browser or even if it is under incognito mode. The cart contents and all the details that they have entered here will be recovered. So that would be easier for the customer to continue the purchase. And if we go to the report for our email flow, go to email flow by going to email marketing, email flow builder, and then click the show email sequence subscribers. We should be able to see that we have our first email here and we have in queue for the next 3 hours. So unlike Messenger, the email queue is generated on demand, meaning you will only see the email that is directly next ahead, but you won't be able to see any future emails ahead of the currently in queued email. So it is not like Messenger where you will see all of the queued emails at once. So don't be surprised if on your email subscribers list, you only see a few, and on the future emails, you are not seeing that because that is by design. Great, so that is now working. But what would happen if the customer continued with the purchase? So let's have a little recap what we have configured on our store here. Let's edit our store. So once the customer completes the purchase, the Mac Store purchaser tag will be added to them. And also they will be added to the Mac Store customers contact book. And once that's done, then any further messages from our messenger sequence and from our email flow will not be sent because we have added conditions for those emails to be sent. So if you go to contact book, you would be able to see that we have no contacts here right now. And if we check the tag of our subscriber, let's go to live chat and then check the tag of that customer. So we have the customer here. And if we check, so currently we only have the buyer tag for this customer, but we don't have the mock store purchaser tag. What if we continue with the purchase? So let's go back to our email. Let's copy this link and open it up on a new incognito window. Okay, this is now an incognito window. And as you can see, the data was recovered successfully. It means that it wouldn't matter what browser the customer would use, as long as it is a modern browser, the data would be recovered once they click the cart recovery link. So let's click place order here, and then let's check what would happen. All right, so there are a few details that is required. So let's add those details first. Once that's added, we can click place order. Okay, great. The order has now been received. We can check the status of the order by going to e-commerce and then go to orders. And from abandoned, it is now on hold. Let us check first if the tag was added to the customer. So let's go to Facebook and Instagram. Let's go to live chat, and then let's check what tag was added here. So if we click the subscriber settings, you would notice that a new tag was added, the mock store purchaser tag. So once this subscriber already have this tag, then this subscriber will not receive any more messages from our chat sequence. So now that we have proven that the tag was added successfully, let's check our contact book. Let's go to contacts and then go to contact books. Okay, and as you can see, we now have one contact under our contact book. And to finally see what the email address of that contact is, let's go to my contact list. And then instead of all groups, let's choose mock store customers. And as you can see, we have the customer's email over here. So since this customer's email is already added on the contact book, then this email will not receive any more messages from our email flow, because as you may remember, on the configuration of our email flow, we have added a condition here that we will only send the message for abandoned cart recovery if that subscriber's email is not part of this mock store customers. But since that customer email is now part of this contact book, then all of the messages that we have here will not be sent on that customer's email. So now I hope that it's clear how to set up Messenger abandoned cart notifications and email abandoned cart notifications using email flow and Messenger sequences. For the next video, we are going to discuss how you can send abandoned cart notifications for other platforms like WhatsApp and others as well. So stay tuned for our next video.